She said, "You're everything to me," but I saw her wearing his sweatshirt at midnight. I couldn't breathe when I saw her standing in the doorway, wearing that damn sweatshirt. It wasn't just any sweatshirt. It was his. The one with the faded logo from the college they both went to. The one I'd seen him wear 100 times before. The one I never thought I'd see on her body. And yet there she was. My girlfriend of 3 years, at midnight, in his sweatshirt, looking like she didn't have a care in the world. I froze in the kitchen, my pulse thumping in my ears as I stared at her. I didn't know what to say at first. I wanted to scream, but my throat felt tight, like the air had been sucked out of the room. I tried to calm down, but I could feel my fists balling up, the heat rising in my chest. This wasn't something I'd imagined. It wasn't a misunderstanding. I had seen him wear that sweatshirt so many times before, and there she was, wearing it like it was normal. She looked up at me, surprised to see me standing there. For a split second, she seemed to hesitate, like she didn't know what to say either. But then, in the same breath, she laughed. "Hey, what are you doing up?" That laugh. It felt so forced. It sounded like it was trying to cover something up, something that didn't feel right. My stomach dropped, and I couldn't hold it in any longer. I took a step toward her, my voice low but sharp. "What are you doing wearing his sweatshirt?" Her eyes widened, and I could see the panic starting to creep into her expression. "Ben, it's not what you think," she said quickly, holding her hands up like she could stop me from seeing whatever it was I was seeing. "It's just what? Just a coincidence? Just a sweatshirt? That sweatshirt? Don't lie to me." I felt the heat of anger welling up in my chest, and I couldn't stop myself from going on. "You've been saying everything's fine between us. You've been telling me I'm everything to you, and then I come down here, and I see you in his clothes. At midnight." She took a step back like I'd slapped her. I could see the guilt and the fear in her eyes, and for a moment, she just stood there, unsure of what to say. I didn't give her a chance to explain. "Are you seriously going to try to tell me there's nothing going on between you two?" I scoffed, the bitterness creeping into my voice. "You're wearing his damn sweatshirt, and you expect me to believe this is just innocent." "I didn't mean for it to look like this," she said, her voice trembling. "I swear, Ben, it's not what you think." I didn't know whether to cry or throw something. It was like I was watching everything unravel in front of me, but I couldn't stop it. I loved her. I wanted to believe her, but everything was telling me that something wasn't right. "Then explain it to me, Mia," I said, my voice breaking now. "Explain why you're wearing his sweatshirt. Explain why, every time I ask about him, you go quiet. Explain why I'm the last one to know anything about your life, while he's right there in the background in your life." Mia and I had been together for 3 years. We met during our second year of college. I was a senior, she was a junior, and she just kind of clicked with me. We both had that sarcastic humor, the same love for old movies, and the same career goals. Our relationship started slow, but once we got past the usual awkwardness, we moved in together. It felt like everything was falling into place. For the first year, it was like a dream. We'd cook dinner together, spend Sundays at the farmer's market, and talk about the future until we'd both fall asleep. I thought we were building something solid. But after that first year, things started changing. I couldn't pinpoint when it happened. It was gradual, small shifts at first, like her staying on her phone more, responding with one-word answers, and making excuses to avoid plans with my friends. There was a lot of work stuff, a lot of late nights spent alone while she went out with her colleagues. And every time I asked, she'd smile and say, "Don't worry, babe, you're my everything." But the distance kept growing. And then, a few weeks ago, I noticed it again. That feeling. Something wasn't right. I couldn't put my finger on it, but it was the way she acted when I asked about him. Him, her co-worker, Danny. He was always there. At first, it seemed harmless enough, just a friendship, I thought. But then, when I asked if she was doing anything with him outside of work, her answer was always the same. "He's just a friend, Ben. Stop being so jealous." I wanted to trust her. I wanted to believe it was nothing. I didn't want to be the paranoid boyfriend. But there was always that nagging feeling in the back of my mind. And now, seeing her in a sweatshirt, I knew. I knew I wasn't imagining things. I stood in the kitchen, my heart racing, as Mia stood across from me, trying to explain herself, but I wasn't sure I wanted to hear it anymore. Every time she tried to defend herself, it felt like more lies were slipping through the cracks. She took a deep breath, trying to calm herself down. Okay, Ben, I get that this looks bad, but you have to understand. I didn't mean for this to happen. Danny and we've been friends for a long time and... Friends, I interrupted. That's the line you're going with? You're wearing his sweatshirt in the middle of the night, and you're still calling him just a friend? It's not like that. Her voice was shaking now, and I could see the tears welling in her eyes. I swear, Ben, I'm not cheating on you. I never wanted to hurt you. Then what is it? I shot back. Because I'm standing here, and I'm looking at you, wearing his clothes. And I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know if I'm just the fool who's been left in the dark. She looked down at the sweatshirt, her hand twitching like she was about to pull it off. But she didn't. She didn't even try to explain the situation, just kept her eyes cast downward. I don't know how to explain it. It's complicated, Ben. It's been complicated for a while now, but it never meant anything. It was just comfort. Comfort? The word felt like a slap in the face. She had the audacity to call it comfort when she was wearing the clothing of another guy who clearly meant more to her than she was letting on. And the fact that she was acting like I was the one overreacting only made it worse. Comfort, I echoed, my voice incredulous. Comfort is you wearing my hoodie when you're cold, not his. I shook my head, the anger rising like a storm inside me. You've been lying to me, Mia. Every single time you said you were just friends, every time you said it was nothing, you were lying. Ben, please, she pleaded, reaching out toward me, but I took a step back. I didn't want to be touched. I didn't want her hands on me. Not after this. I don't know what to do with this, I whispered, more to myself than to her. I can't trust you anymore. Her face crumpled, and I saw the guilt in her eyes, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for her to just apologize. The damage had been done, and I couldn't ignore it anymore. Not after everything I'd seen, everything I'd heard. I didn't want to be the guy who ended things on a whim. I didn't want to walk away from the woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized I didn't know her anymore. I didn't know anything about her, about us, about what we had. I had to make a choice, and I knew deep down that staying with her, pretending everything was fine, would only keep hurting me. Maybe we need some time apart, I said quietly, my throat tight. I don't think I can do this right now. And with that, I turned around, walked out of the kitchen, and left her standing there, holding the weight of her lies in the silence. Part 2. I spent the next few days in a fog. The kind where everything feels like it's moving around you, but you're stuck in place, unable to take action. I kept going through the motions, but nothing felt right. I went to work, I ate, I slept, or at least tried to, but the images of her in that sweatshirt haunted me every time I closed my eyes. Every time I thought of her and Danny, I couldn't breathe. The whole situation felt like a sick joke, one I wasn't sure I'd be able to laugh at ever. Mia tried to reach out to me multiple times over the next few days. Texts, phone calls, voicemails. I didn't respond. I couldn't bring myself to pick up the phone. I didn't even know what I'd say to her if I did. I just kept replaying the moment, over and over again, her standing there in his clothes, trying to explain herself, but every excuse falling flat. And still, I wanted to believe her. Part of me kept hoping that it was all some misunderstanding, some weird, twisted coincidence. But another part of me, the part that had seen too many signs and ignored them for too long, knew better. It wasn't just a crush. It wasn't just a comfort sweatshirt. The truth was there, plain as day. She had let someone else into our life, into her heart. I couldn't just ignore it. The text came through on Thursday afternoon, right when I was sitting at my desk, staring blankly at my computer screen. It was from Mia, and my hand shook when I saw her name pop up. I didn't want to read it, but I couldn't stop myself. Can we please talk? I'm not giving up on us. I never meant to hurt you. I just need to explain. I stared at it for a long time, my heart pounding in my chest. I had to talk to her. I knew I couldn't just let things fester indefinitely. But every part of me was terrified of what that conversation would mean. What would I even say? What could she possibly say to make this make sense? I put the phone down and took a deep breath. You have to talk to her. You have to find out the truth. I left work early that day. I couldn't concentrate anyway. It felt like I was going through the motions of life, just trying to survive until the next moment. By the time I got home, Mia was already there. She was sitting on the couch, her arms wrapped around herself, looking small and fragile in the dim light of the living room. I didn't want to see her like this. I didn't want to feel sorry for her. But when I walked in, something about her posture, the way she was physically shrinking as if bracing herself for the worst, hit me harder than I expected. It was like all the walls I'd built up over the last few days started crumbling. I stopped in the doorway, not sure where to start. "You want to talk?" I said, my voice rough. She nodded, her eyes red from crying. She had clearly been waiting for me to come home. "Ben." She cut herself off, taking a shaky breath, as if trying to collect her thoughts. I never meant for any of this to happen. I stood there, staring at her, trying not to let the vulnerability in her voice soften me. The reality of the situation hit me in waves, and I was starting to feel the pull to fix things, to make it all go away, like it was just a bad dream. But I couldn't. I couldn't pretend I didn't know what I knew. "Then how did it happen, Mia?" My voice came out in a low whisper, full of disbelief. "How do you go from being everything to me to wearing his sweatshirt and making plans with him? You told me I was your everything. But I wasn't, was I? I wasn't enough." She winced, her eyes filling with tears again. "Ben, please. I know I've hurt you. I know I've been distant. But it wasn't like I went looking for this. It just happened." I felt a pang in my chest, a mixture of anger and sorrow. "What do you mean, it just happened?" I asked, my voice thick with emotion. "It's not like you trip and fall into another person's arms. You made a choice. You've been making that choice for a while now, and you've been lying to me every step of the way." She flinched, her face crumpling with regret. "I never wanted to be like this. Danny and he's been there for me, Ben. He's been a friend when I needed one. When things started getting tough between us, when I felt like I was losing myself, he was there. I had to take a moment to breathe." The hurt in her voice, the way she tried to justify everything, made me feel like I was being stabbed in the chest with every word. "So you turned to him. Instead of coming to me. Instead of talking to me, you ran to him." She nodded, tears falling down her cheeks. "I know, and I'm so sorry. I should have come to you. But the truth is, I felt disconnected for a while, and I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't know how to talk to you about it without hurting you. Do you love him?" I asked quietly, dreading the answer. She hesitated, her eyes searching mine as if trying to decide how much truth she should give. "No," she said finally, but her voice cracked. "I don't love him, but I don't know what I was doing. I think I just got caught up in the attention, in the comfort of someone caring about me when I felt like you weren't." She shook her head, looking down at her hands. "I never meant for it to go this far. I never wanted to hurt you, Ben. But I did, and I hate myself for it." I stood there, watching her, feeling my heart shatter a little more with each word she spoke. The hardest part was that I could hear the sincerity in her voice. I could hear how much she regretted what she'd done, but regret didn't change the facts. She had crossed a line, and I wasn't sure how to come back from that. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my emotions in check. "I need time, Mia. I can't just forget what happened. I can't just go back to normal like it's nothing. What you did, it changed everything." She nodded, her face wet with tears. "I understand. I'm not asking you to forgive me right now. You need to leave," I said, the words coming out colder than I intended. "I need space. I need to figure out if I can ever trust you again." She looked like I'd slapped her, but I didn't take it back. The pain in my chest was so deep I wasn't sure it would ever go away, but I knew I couldn't fix this. Not tonight. Not with more empty words and apologies. Mia stood up slowly, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. "I'm so sorry, Ben," she whispered again, and then, without waiting for me to say anything else, she walked toward the door. I heard the front door close behind her, and suddenly, the house was silent. My heart felt like it was in a vice, but the one thing that kept ringing in my ears was the same question. Where do we go from here?